Prophet Yirmeyahu, Jeremiah, chapter 52. Tzidkiyahu was 21 years old when he began to rule, and he ruled for 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Yirmeyahu from Livnah. He did what was evil from Adonai's perspective, following the example of everything Jehoiakim had done. And it was because of Adonai's anger that all these things happened to Jerusalem and Yehudah, until he had thrown them out of his presence. Tzidkiyahu rebelled against the king of Bavel. So in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, on the 10th day of the month, Nebuchadrezzar, king of Bavel, marched against Jerusalem with his entire army. He set up camp against it and built siege towers against it on every side. The city remained under siege until into the 11th year of King Tzidkiyahu. On the 9th day of the 4th month, when the famine in the city was so severe that there was no food for the people of the land, they broke through into the city. All the soldiers fled and left the city by night through the gate between the two walls near the king's garden. Because the Kasdim were surrounding the city, they took the route through the Arava. But the army of the Kasdim went in pursuit of the king and overtook Tzidkiyahu on the plains near Jericho. All his troops deserted him. Then they took the king and brought him up to the king of Bavel in Rivlah, in the land of Hamath, where he passed judgment on him. The king of Bavel slaughtered his sons before his eyes. He also slaughtered all the leading men of Yehudah in Rivlah. Then the king of Bavel put out Tzidkiyahu's eyes, bound him in chains, carried him off to Bavel, and kept him in prison until the day of his death. In the 5th month on the 10th day of the month, which was also the 19th year of King Nebuchadrezzar, king of Bavel, Nebuzaradan, the commander of the guard and a close associate of the king of Bavel, entered Jerusalem. He burned down the house of Adonai, the royal palace, and all the houses in Jerusalem. Every notable person's house he burned to the ground. The whole army of the Kasdim, who were with the commander of the guard, broke down all the walls of Jerusalem on every side. Nebuzaradan, the commander of the guard, then deported some of the poor people, the remaining population of the city, the deserters who had defected to the king of Bavel, and the rest of the common people. But Nebuzaradan, the commander of the guard, left behind some of the poor people of the land to be vineyard workers and farmers. The Kasdim smashed the bronze columns of the house of Adonai, also the trolleys and bronze sea that were in the house of Adonai, and carried their bronze to Bavel. They also took away the pots, shovels, snuffers, basins, pans, and all the bronze articles they had used in worship. The commander of the guard took the cups, censers, sprinkling bowls, pots, menorahs, pans, and bowls, everything made of gold and everything made of silver, the bronze in the 2 columns, the 1 sea, and the 12 bronze bowls under the bases, all of which Shlomo had made for the house of Adonai, was more than could be weighed. As for the columns, the height of 1 column was 31.5 feet. It took a 21-foot measuring line to go around it, and its thickness was 4 fingers. It was hollow. On it was a capital of bronze, 8 3/4 feet high, with netting and pomegranates. There were 96 pomegranates on the outside, while the total number of pomegranates in the netting was 100. The commander of the guard took prisoner Seraiah, the chief Kohen, Tizphaniah, the second-ranking Kohen, and 3 doorkeepers. From the city he took an official in charge of the soldiers, 7 close associates of the king who had been found in the city, the army commander's secretary in charge of military conscription, and 60 of the common people found inside the city. Nebuzaradan, the commander of the guard, took them and brought them to the king of Bavel in Rivlah. There in Rivlah, in the land of Hamath, the king of Bavel had them put to death. Thus Yehudah was carried away captive out of his land. The numbers of people deported by Nebuchadrezzar were as follows. In the 7th year, 3,023 persons from Yehudah. In the 18th year of Nebuchadrezzar, 832 persons from Jerusalem. And in the 23rd year of Nebuchadrezzar, Nebuzaradan, the commander of the guard, deported 745 persons from Yehudah. The total comes to 4,600 persons. In the 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim, king of Yehudah, in the 12th month, on the 25th day of the month, Evil, Merodach began his reign as king of Bavel, and in his first year he commuted the sentence of Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, and released him from prison. He treated him with kindness and gave him a throne higher than those of the other kings there with him in Bavel. So Jehoiakim no longer had to wear prison clothes. Moreover, he was provided with food as long as he lived, and he was granted a daily allowance by the king of Bavel to spend on his other needs for as long as he lived, until the day of his death. End of Yirmeyahu, chapter 52.